Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another Be Connected session. I'm with you as always. I'm Emily and I'm a Customer Experience Officer at the Marion Libraries. And today we're talking about getting online with movies, music, and podcasts. So this is something very exciting, very cool, kind of more the fun side of the internet where you'll be streaming and listening to things, and I'll show you how to get into podcasts. So let's get started. Let's go with what we're going to look at today. First, we're going to start off with the Be Connected website, which is where I always start off. We'll look at what even is streaming. What does the term streaming mean? We'll look at subscription services, things you pay for, and then catch-up TV and free video. So places where you can watch video without having to pay for anything, which is really good. Then we're going to look at free music, so music you can find online for free. And I'll go through certain apps and products and which is the best, or which I think is the best at least. And then we're going to look at where to find podcasts and what podcasts to even try listening to. And we'll get into a question and answer section if we've got any at the end. Let's get into Be Connected. So first off, Be Connected is, again, an Australian government-based initiative where they are getting everyone online, building up confidence in digital skills and things like that. So on Be Connected, you can just type it into Google. I'll bring it up now, actually. It has an expansive topic collection, including what we're looking at today. It's got easy-to-use functionality, so I recommend it for just about everybody because it is so simple to use. Here we go. And it's also you're able to sign up and keep track of your training, and you get kind of a nice like a print off at the end, a sheet that says you did all this, well done, sort of thing. You don't have to sign up, but it is great to keep track of where you're up to, and you can go through and tick all those boxes. So that's Be Connected. Today we're looking at, let's go to the topic library. Today we're looking at videos, so getting online. Oh, my hobbies, I think it's there. I have the hardest time finding it the second time. Watching and listening online, that's where we're looking. So if you were to go into Explore, it brings out an introductory video for one of the topics, and then we'll go down to watching and listening online. From here, you can watch each individual video, which is kind of what we're doing today with watching me. Or if you have got someone that doesn't have a computer, you can print them off in PDF format and making it very easy to access and read at home. So that's what we're looking at there. Let's jump back to the PowerPoint. So that's Be Connected. That's where I'm getting my info today. So let's look at streaming starting off, and you can see I've got a big Netflix symbol in the background. Most of us know about Netflix. It's a pay-per-view, so you pay for a subscription and you'll get the service that way. But we'll talk about streaming services in a second. But what is streaming? Let's start there. So it's simultaneous download and play setup. It's where the media that you're downloading offline is played as you download it, essentially. Normally you would download something and it would be stored somewhere, but with simultaneous sort of download and play being streaming, you don't have it downloaded anywhere, you just view it, and at that point it may keep it for a bit longer, but if you were to click away from the window and come back, or press play, pause, back to menu, things like that, it won't be saved. So it'll remember your place of where you are up to, because streaming services like to let you know what area in the series you're up to, was the what episode, then what time in the center at the timestamp, but it won't have already downloaded it essentially. So what it's doing is streaming straight to the internet. It's a very efficient way to view video. Waiting for a whole video to download, a whole TV show or film, can take a very, very long time. And people, I mean, if that was the only way we did it, we'd get used to it. But now, because we can do video streaming, that's what people want. They want instant play and go. So you're not saving the whole file, but you are playing and watching it as it goes. So it's a quicker way to do it. I'll let you know that streaming does still take up the same amount of data, and it can do more data, in fact, if you're going back or skipping forward and playing different bits back. So if you're just letting it play and run, that's going to be one-to-one, the same amount of data used as if you had downloaded something. But if you're skipping through and changing things, it might have to restart the download at that point. So it can add up, depending on if you're watching the whole thing back again, sort of thing, that will end up using more data. So keep that in mind, especially since video streaming uses the most data you can. Because it's a mixture of audio and pictures, like lots and lots and lots of files played over each other. it can build up to quite a large amount. So keep that in mind. And if you've got a limited data amount, be very mindful of that. You could run out. So where can we watch or listen online? So watching on subscription platforms, freeview platforms, and all these are on desktop TVs, desktops, TVs, your phone, tablet, things like that. Listening doesn't need to be put on a TV, of course, because it's just the audio. So this is great for people who are on the go and want to listen to music or a podcast while doing chores, gardening, out for a walk, things like that. And this way you'd listen to it on you can bring it on a tablet device if you're happy to carry that with you. But most of the time we carry around our phones or smaller devices. Some people still have their iPods, which is great. That's what they were intended for. But many, many people have got this device here, so they're going to be using it as they go. So that's where you listen online. Let's talk about subscription platforms, places where you pay money. So each service will offer either a monthly or annual subscription. Netflix is probably the most popular, just sort of widespread. Many users. Disney Plus, Foxtel, Prime Video, Stan. I don't know as many people using Apple TV just because, again, it's limited to having the Apple devices. So people who would like to watch across different devices and things like that would have an easier time with something like Netflix. And Apple TV isn't pre-installed with most smart TVs these days. It'd have to be a very particular brand. You can still download them, but not always. And I'll talk about smart TVs in a little bit as well. The way you would pay for a subscription is by a card, so it can be PayPal account or it could be credit or debit, things like that. And each offers their own content. So depending on which country you're in, these will offer different things. In America, they say American Netflix is better. This just means that they have a less diffused market in terms of streaming services. Disney Plus is still on their Prime Video, things like that. But Netflix gets a lot of the licensing for everything else that would have fallen outside. So something like Stan will pick up a lot of Australian-based shows, and then several other types of more Hollywood-style things. So this is shows and movies, don't forget. So for us, we have a wider range to choose from, but it also means you have to pick and choose what stuff you want to watch. Some things are totally limited to the one place. So Disney Plus only hosts their own Disney videos, movies, documentaries, things like that, Disney-owned products. Whereas Netflix is happy to pick up just about anything, but they've always got their own Netflix-made shows. So it's good to do a little bit of research, see what you'd like. Each has their own sort of demographic almost. They try to cater to everyone, but something like Disney Plus is definitely more for a younger family that has kids and appreciates Star Wars. Star Wars is a big part of Disney Plus. They've got their own subcategory. But if you're into the Disney films, you're happy to have that. They've got everything from all the way back. So original stuff, original animations, original live action films and things like that. So again, it's up to you to decide what you'd like and what you think is best. So do a bit of research, see what's on the service. Over time, certain shows will come off because the licensing runs out and then they end up getting put onto DVD. At that point, they'd release the license and they wouldn't keep streaming it, knowing that you could buy it elsewhere. But they tend to keep their own, Stan exclusive or Netflix exclusive shows on their streaming service. And they also stream in very high definition. So this is great for those who have their smart TV or are happy to hook up or stream from their device, from their phone or from a laptop. You can often get an HDMI plug it into your TV, act as a second screen if your TV isn't a smart TV. And again, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's have a look at more free options, which we love. So there's a surprisingly robust collection of shows and films available for free. One of the best places that I'm going to talk about in a second as well is Canopy, which is a free service you get by having a library card. So if you sign up with your library card, that's something you get for free. The library pays for it and we're happy to share. And I'll talk about what they've got on there and I'll show you what it looks like when you look them up on Google, on the internet, not just on Google. YouTube, a brilliant hub for just about anything. Keep in mind that anyone can put a video up on YouTube, so you can get a real mix of lower quality content versus like something like I was looking at Gardening Australia online the other day, and they had lovely videos, like nice little short clips. If you had something on the show you really liked, you could look them up on YouTube and they'll put their own little clips. Most larger TV channels, like or shows I should say, like Gardening Australia, will only put up clips. They're not going to put up the whole half-an-hour program on there. But if you got a catch-up service, which you just log on to and put your email and a password in, you can access TV that has already aired and watch it back again. Some TVs have this built in, so you don't have to look up online as I would with my laptop. I'd look it up and go, okay, this was the show. Some TVs will have it pre-built that you can essentially do a Google search within your TV, being a smart TV. We'll talk about that again in a second. But these places where you can stream catch-up TV are things like SBS On Demand, ABC iView, 7+, 9Now, things like that. They've all got their, channel and then extra bit. So SBS On Demand, iView, things like that. And these are totally free to view. The only thing that they're losing out on is that they always have ads, which is expected because they usually they air on TV with ads anyway. So you're kind of expecting them to have ads for the free show anyway. It's just how they pay the bills. And you just have to log on. The only thing that I find annoying is that I have to have so many logons for each of them if I want to watch, something on SBS or something on iView. But it is great to have, and you can catch up with previous shows and whole series that have already aired. Again, they have the same thing where there's a limited license on how long they can have it online for free, because of course they're going to be put out on DVD and Blu-ray and made available in other ways that you'd have to pay for. So catch them while you can, and if you've got a show you really like and want to catch up on, say if there's a second season, they'll often have the first season available knowing that they're about to stream or air the next season. So keep an eye out for those, they're really good. So if you find something you like on TV and want to follow it, jump online or onto your smart TV if you've got it, and then follow through with that and look them up. So yeah, viewing ads, and they usually only come with standard definition video. So high definition, standard definition, it's talking about how clear and crisp the image is going to be. So high definition is going to look even nicer. It's going to look great on a large TV. And standard definition, it's going to look, fairly average on a TV, but just fine if you're viewing it on your own little screen or a computer monitor. It's not going to be noticeable. And most people don't find that to be, a turn off or a drawback at all. So let's have a look at Canopy. I thought it was going to do. Okay, we are talking about smart TVs next. Good. So Canopy, a place to view free documentaries, films, and courses as well. They've got some courses in there. So this is such a cool system that we've got set up. It's essentially getting something like Netflix or Disney Plus or any other subscription service for free through the library. So they have a huge collection of sort of eclectic films. As you can see, we've got several that are I've got a little graphic here of Australian cinema in particular, some that, have several nominations for awards, others that are quite small, smaller indie films. And it's a great place if you're into that sort of stuff, especially, and documentaries, it's very good. So the system, I'll let you know how it works, how you get free films, essentially. You only get 8 films per month, meaning that you have a limited amount of credits. These credits account for one movie that you watch, and you have 3 days to watch the movie before that credit expires. If you wanted to watch the movie again after that 3-day period has passed, you'd have to spend another credit after that in order to watch it. So most people, I don't know, you'd be kind of hard pressed to find someone who watches 8 movies every month, maybe. But I say that's a pretty good deal for a totally free system, no ads required. You just have to pop in your library card number, your PIN, and then they ask you to add an email so they can recover the email in your account if necessary. So pop in an email, password, and that's good to go. It's a really good setup. And then all the play credits that you've accumulated or used up, all 8, they refresh at the beginning of the month again. Then you can have another 8 after that. And you can watch it on your phone, on your tablet, on your TV, on your computer, wherever you like to view things online. So let's have a look at that now. Let me bring it up. One moment. Here we go. So this is the front page of Canopy. Currently they're doing trending films on the top, and then they're doing some credit-free things as well. So again, you've only got those 8 credits to use. Again, I don't know if you'd manage to get through all 8. Maybe if you're having a good binge, yeah, I think you would get through 8. Let's have a look at browse. Ooh, here we go. And yeah, you can jump into documentaries. Let's go into arts and artists. And they've got some brilliant documentaries there already. Looks great. And there are so many, and they'll give you a count up here. So 803 come under the artist category just in documentaries alone. Let's go into movies and say maybe world cinema. Let's have a look around the world what they're offering. So yep, just about everything. I say everything, that's not the case. But again, 725 videos to view. So maybe you will get through 8 quite quickly. That actually may be the case. Still, 8 movies for free each month. Very cool. Let's go into some science fiction, just plain movies, see what they offer. Very cool. Now, these are films you really aren't going to get on the major networks because they can be very odd. Some are critically acclaimed, some are not. But there are several I can see here that I'd already be quite interested in, for sure. Let's do one more search. Let's look into classic cinema. You can find older films on this, which is brilliant. Oftentimes these films have totally gone out of print online, or you can't buy them on DVD, but here you'll be able to have a look through and grab one. So say if you want to watch Dial M for Murder by Alfred Hitchcock, let's have a look. From here, you would just press play. I think it asks about credits. We'll see. It gives you a little synopsis, gives you recommended things. This is a very similar format to, there you go, a very similar format to how YouTube will look. So if you're used to using YouTube, this is kind of a similar layout. And there you go. So you can view films, you can rate the film. Obviously, people who have used this service have given it a 4 out of 5. Very good, not too bad. But yeah, it's a brilliant service. Give it a go. Again, totally free with your library card, so it's worthwhile trying. All right, let's look into smart TVs. So for every time I've said smart TV and you've gone, what does that mean? I'll let you know now. So they're essentially just TVs that are connected to the internet. Anything that's smart, like a smartphone, smart TV, smart fridge, is something that has a connection to the internet and can communicate online to other services. So for here, this one I can see here has apps similar. These are called apps in this case. They are applications you open. This one has Netflix loaded up, as well as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And that way you can actually browse the internet with your TV. They're they're more limited than an actual computer. So it's still worthwhile having a computer that can read your emails and things like that, and then a TV that's smart. All TVs that you buy now are smart TVs or have some form of online capability. You'd be kind of hard pressed to find one that doesn't have any. I'm sure they're still out there, but currently TVs and of all price ranges include a smart connection. It doesn't mean they won't work if they're not connected to the internet. If your internet dropped off or you didn't want to connect it, your TV would still work. You just need to have a set-top box set up or some kind of antenna cable connecting your TV. Most TVs will now connect over the internet. But yeah, it really does depend on what you prefer as well. They connect to your home Wi-Fi. It can be an Ethernet, so like an actual plug-in cord that plugs into the TV, or a Wi-Fi. It does prefer Wi-Fi, meaning that wireless connection that connects to your modem that you've got in your house. You can set it up with other home gadgets like Alexa, Google Home, smart lights, etc. So you can essentially use it as a big remote as well. That's what a smart TV is. Essentially just a TV that has internet connection and has extra functionality than you would get than a normal TV. Let's move on to music and podcasts. There we go. And we've got a little, let me show again, literary anything unveiling there. A little peek as to what's to come. So let's continue through. Where to listen to music. So I'll show you, and I've not put arrows here. Unfortunately, I forgot to put my arrows in. 4 major places to look for music and listen. First, I've got Spotify listed here. Apple Music is here. YouTube Music and Google Play. Did not list them as I have in the next slide. Totally forgot to do this bit. That's fine. So a place I recommend personally is Spotify. It's a free listening app. Let me bring it up. Let me see if I can do this. So you can browse, it's got a nice black format. You can browse through all kinds of genres, anything from podcasts to albums to singles to some radio stations, and they've got all their curated playlists as well. All of this you can search for free, totally free. If you're on the free service, it's very similar to what you get on the paid service. However, some limitations. You will hear an ad every, I think, third song or midway through a podcast you're listening to. Some podcasts do just have ads in them because it's how they make their money. But Spotify will put their own ads in between the music you're listening to, oftentimes just to promote getting Spotify Premium, which is where you pay a premium, an amount, to get Spotify without the ads. Sometimes they'll put in sponsored ads, but oftentimes it's just Spotify Premium, get it now, then you won't listen to these ads. It's a pretty good system. It's still the most popular music streaming service out there. The next up is Apple Music, which is on the far left here. This lovely Apple symbol. Next popular, which is kind of impressive because only in recent years has Apple Music overtaken iTunes. So iTunes was the older service that most of us knew about. I used to use iTunes. Now it's Apple Music. And again, it's very similar to Spotify. You pay a fee per month or an annual fee if you like to set that up. And then you get access to music for free. Again, they're very comparable. I recommend Spotify just because it does offer that free tier to practice on first. Apple Music will give you I think it's a week of a free trial, but you do have to put your credit card details in right away. Whereas Spotify will only ask for your credit card details when you accept, yes, I'd like to get premium, let's do it. Before that, you can listen to it for free, however you like. There's no trial period, you can just keep listening. Again, just those ads to keep out for. Another place up and coming, YouTube Music is still fairly new. It collects all of their music and music videos into one place, one app. Pretty good. I don't prefer it. I do still like Spotify best, but give it a go if you especially would like to watch the music clips that come with the videos, with the music. A great one to try. And then there's Google Play Music, very similar to Apple Music, where you'll pay a subscription fee to listen. Unlike YouTube Music, totally free to listen to. It always offers the option to pay for higher quality audio and things like that, and get rid of ads as well, but otherwise totally free. So all of these are great places to start. Places like Spotify will get you podcasts as well. I think all of them, maybe not YouTube Music and Google Play and Apple Music. So maybe just Spotify does also podcasts. So that's why I like Spotify so much. It can do a lot, and it really accepts, it's happy to have a free service for you until the point that you'd like to change to premium, which I did a very long time ago because I did get tired of those ads, and I did find myself using Spotify almost every day. So great places to start. Let's have a look at where to listen to podcasts. So we've got music covered. Yeah, got music covered. Let's go into podcasts. So where to listen? First, I'll let you know that podcast apps aren't necessarily creating their own curated content for the podcasts, for the app. So each app essentially is a host, and then they just accept those who would like to put their podcasts, the people who actually make the podcasts, anything from large studios to places like us. We have our own podcast. I'll talk to you about it in a second. They'll go, yes, I'd like that on this site, let's put it on, and they'll make it available. So these are places like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. They all take in podcasts from different creators who would like to put one out and make them available. I don't know if there's a very high criteria to put a podcast out onto one of these podcast apps. The next level of criteria would be to get into a podcast network, which is where ad revenue comes in, and marketing and advertising and cross promotion and things like that come up. But that's really only if you're interested in becoming a creator of podcasts and not the listener, which is what most of us are. The alternate character in all this is ABC Listen. They only put out the creations, the podcasts that they publish. So it's all their work. So I'll have a show you. I'll show it later, but I'll do it now as well. They put out all of their own shows, including just regular driving around radio shows. So at the top, you can see Live Now. They offer, okay, listen to the radio, give it a go. And then they also give you episodes of their radio shows. And some are exclusively just on Apple Podcasts in podcast form, and others are little snippets of what you get. So something like RN Drive, is a radio show that they have recorded and made available to listen back to on a podcast. So that's what ABC Listen is, and I'll talk about it again in a second. Whereas other places like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts are just the host. But you can access any podcast through those apps, other than the ABC related apps, which are exclusively on ABC Listen. It is great to have them all in one spot and not really muddled up, because there are about, I think it said about 80 something podcasts that you can listen to, and each has several episodes, some getting into the hundreds of episodes. I know you don't have to listen to all of them. You can just pick and choose. They're all titled with the subject they're talking about, and you can pick whatever you like. So back again, how to listen. So first, download the app of your choice. For me, I'm choosing Apple Listen, which you can look up in either the Google Play Store or your Google Apps, Apple Apps Store. So 2 places. Again, the best place to listen to these are on a device you can walk around with. You are allowed to totally listen to them online entirely. And I'll show you how to look at a podcast on a place like Soundcloud, which is essentially just like another music hosting service. There's a world of choice here. You can choose so many different apps. The reason is just that it's a healthy market is one that's filled with other alternatives, and the best one will win out because it's the most popular or just the best at the functionality it intends. But how to listen, this is a simple part, sort of download the app you'd like, Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc. From there, you choose one you'd like to listen to. So say there's one here called Weekend of Books, big Weekend of Books, just there. And if I click on it, it'll open up the episode. Let me pause it for a second. I don't want to play out loud. I've turned my sound down. So here it's brought up the episode, a descriptor of the episode, as well as a series of buttons here. Let me open up in big screen. When I say big screen, I mean my face. Here I am. So here we go. We've got our episode. And at the bottom here, you'll see this pause play symbol. I say play pause because when you tap it, it'll do what you're clicking on. So currently it's playing. It is actually just loading. It's not actually playing at this point, but you can see it's playing. And you'll see that this little bar can be scrolled across and you can get to a different time in the audio of the podcast. And then they also give the option to skip back and forward by 15 seconds. This is great if something has been mentioned, you go, oh, I want to know what that was again. You'll tap back on the 15 seconds and it'll go just back in time by a little bit and you go, ah, caught it. Or maybe if you want to skip past an ad break, if they have those in there, this one skips forward 90 seconds, so a whole minute and 30. So that's good if you've got an ad breaking in, that's boring, let's skip that, and then we'll jump forward right away. You also have a little a clock symbol, and that'll let you decide when it turns off. This is good if you're listening to a podcast while sleeping, or if you're sort of just dozing off and you know you're going to fall asleep. You can have the whole phone just sort of turn off and sleep as if you had locked your screen. It'll do that after however long you'd like, or end of program is an option as well. So when you finish the show, it'll turn your phone off, or it'll lock the screen. And you also have an alarm as well, which will turn on certain things. So say if you pick an alarm time at a certain point in the video, again, the podcast, it'll turn an alarm on. There's a snooze option and a repeat of the alarm. This is pretty good if you're listening to, say, a radio show while you're getting ready and you're going, okay, at this time stamp in the podcast, I'd like an alarm to go off, letting me know that I've got 10 minutes to leave the house or something like that. So pretty cool in that sense. And you also have the option usually to download. Here we go. So I'm going back to the main page. So this is the home page again. And with this one, we have the 3 dots. 3 dots are your friend. They just mean options. So we'll click on the option symbol here and it brings up an option to download. So from here, you can actually save. This isn't an option in all streaming podcasts. I think it is actually. That's kind of a staple now. You can download it and listen to it offline, which is the coolest part. So if you're on your own Wi-Fi at home, or if you're not wanting to use data while you're out and about, you can download the episode and then turn off your Wi-Fi or your data, and then you can still listen to it. Why did I do a phone symbol? Listen to it again after that. So again, it's a world of choice. The way you listen to it is totally up to you, but it is really cool. So let me go back to share screen. Let's see, here we go. Now let's go on through to maybe some recommendations. Cool. So just as a general overview, we can have a look. A few of my favorites include things like Conversations is very good, Akimbo I like, Ladies We Need to Talk is a highlight, very, very good. That's an ABC one, as you can see here. And the rest of these, or many of these as well, all recommendations by staff. So this one's great here. Chat 10 Looks 3 is really good. Again, another chatting about books podcast, which is great. And which leads us into our next podcast. Oh, sorry, I missed the animation. Here you go. Ta-da! Literary Anything is our library podcast hosted by Jane and Paula, who work here at the library. And they've got some brilliant insights. They bring in not just what they've read in the book, but they bring in the context of why the story was written, when it was written, the political landscape of its release. They're reading oftentimes just sort of contemporary novels, like the newest stuff that people are keen on. They find what's popular, what's controversial, and then they get into the why and how of it and whether or not it's any good and why they like it or don't. So really cool podcast. I'll show you how to listen to it right now if you're on a computer. Here is the way. Let me go back to my share screen. Click over here. So Soundcloud is a brilliant resource just to find, again, sort of independent music. Soundcloud is a pretty good mix of smaller artists that don't get their stuff put onto Apple Music, for example, as well as large artists that just want a smaller place to put their tracks on and get some great feedback. People can comment throughout a video. Sorry, again, I keep saying video. Throughout a recording, they can comment and you can watch it back as a different person and that comment will come up. It's a pretty cool system. So that's SoundCloud. But the cool, I just like using SoundCloud to bring up podcasts because it's a nice layout. The most recent Literary Anything podcast was talking about the book My Friend Anna. I've not listened yet, so no spoilers. I'm very excited. And then we also pop on our Library Through the Lens shows in podcast format. So much like you're watching this on Zoom or watching this back on YouTube, if you're watching it in the future, we record these things and we've popped the podcast version of several of our interviews and Tracy's webinars and seminars and panels that she's done, and she's popped them on here as well that you can listen to back. So a great place to start Literary Anything. Again, you can, let me bring it up on Spotify just to prove that it is so simple to find. One moment, just typing in Literary Anything. Here we go. Maybe just press play. It's to you. Here we go. I've brought that up now. So same episode down here, episode 20, My Friend Anna. You can also get it on Spotify. So you really can listen to these just about anywhere. It's great if you like working at a desktop. You can have the program up and playing in the background. You can listen to it while you work. And then if you want to keep listening, turn your phone on, pop it on there, jump to the same timestamp, time area, and keep going. It's a very cool setup. As well as you can go back through previous episodes as well. That's the most recent episode anyway. There we go. These are previous episodes. Very cool. So that is Listen to Podcast. I've given you some recommendations, a very particular recommendation as well. And I think that's where we're up to. So what I'll do, I'll pause for questions for those in the chat and I'll get right back to you. One moment. Excellent. Thanks for your questions, guys. All right, let's keep going. We'll just finish up now. Won't keep you guys for much longer. Let's look at how to stay connected. Okay, so places to start looking. Jump on our Facebook and Instagram page. We are very up to date there, thanks to Paula and team. And we're always coming out with the latest information about what's going on at the library, are we open, things like that, what programs are on, and what events you can find. So jump onto our Facebook and Instagram. Even if you don't have an account, you can view these. Otherwise, you can jump onto our What's On page on the City of Marion Council website. just go down from venues, libraries, and then what's on. And you can find everything from Library Through the Lens, Be Connected, Bricks and Bytes, other events we've got going on. There's a lot to check out. You can also subscribe to our Library Loop newsletter. It's a very good source of just sort of popping up current information, current events to look forward to without flooding your inbox. We put out one each month, so get excited about that. You can always give us a call if you're not sure how to get subscribed to the Library Loop newsletter. We can always pop you on for you, totally easy. And then visit a branch or call us. We are open, still doing online programs, as you can see, because they're super easy to do online, really cool that way. And you can always give us a call on 8375-6755. That's the Hallett Cove number up at where I am, up at Cove. And I think that's all done for the day. Thank you all, everyone, for attending once again. I will see you in the next one, which is coming up next week, next Wednesday. Let me just stop my share here. Here I am. Hi. So I'll see you all next week. We're talking about MyGov, so get excited. It's tax time. All right, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon or evening or morning, whatever you're enjoying. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.